I've been meaning to post for a while. I got caught up in some stuff. Anyway, for the new subscribers, thank you for joining me. So you know, in this channel I basically will make videos about whatever has my interest at the time. For those subscribers who have been me for a little bit, I appreciate your patience. It's been many months now. I took a break due to some personal reasons, which I will get into later in the video. So a couple things have changed since I last posted. I got a full-time job, and that's been sapping up most of my energy. I bought a clarinet. I haven't actually played it much. I got inspired by PewDiePie and others, and then I watched the SpongeBob movie, and I was just like, you know what? I love me some Squidward. So my goal is to play the clarinet better than Squidward. I actually was playing it for like a couple weeks, and then I guess lost interest. Happens too often. Let's jump into what's coming up. I think I brought this up in my last update video, but I said I was working on a wine video, and I probably mentioned that it would take a couple weeks, and now we are here months later. So you know, that video and another one will be coming out the next day from when this video is posted. I had to change the format a little bit. It's still gonna be a guide to like make your own wine. It doesn't focus that much on what I say because I figured it would take twice as long to get through. It's got music and words overlaid on the screen, which might be harder to digest, but for the sake of brevity, or the sake of keeping it brief, I decided to go that route. If you wanted more of my own wacky personality or whatever, the companion video will hopefully fulfill your needs. In that video I actually spilled some of the wine, and the whole video is just like my whole journey in cleaning up the spill. Yeah, I know I'm not very good at selling stuff. Might not sound like the most interesting thing. After those videos, I haven't started these yet, just so you know, so I won't be able to tell you how long it'll take. And honestly, I feel bad for not posting more frequently. I think I give off this tendency that I don't care about stuff, and that's like I've used not caring to deal with a lot of things in my life. So after the wine 2 video thing, I will be doing the replacement stuff on my MacBook finally. I've been quite scared or hesitant about doing it because it is my only computer. But really, I think I have this tendency to think, oh no, everything is gonna go bad, everything is ruined, whatever. And typically things aren't that bad, right? Typically things just aren't completely ruined. There'll probably be a video in between the MacBook and the next electronic repair thing, but I do plan on getting a broken 3DS and try to repair it myself. I don't know when I'll actually be doing that, but someone did comment that they'd be interested in seeing me work on more handhelds. I hope you're still here for that when I finally do upload that video. I want to get better with posting. Ideally, I want it to go on a weekly schedule. I keep on wanting to apologize instead of saying, hey, I'm sorry I'm taking so long to do these videos or whatever. Just, you know, work on the videos more. Because they are important to me. This channel is important to me, and I might not seem like it, and that's my fault. I tend to try to avoid the more serious topics because I find them much harder to deal with, to talk about. It's so much easier to stay with the superficial. So around when I post my previous video, that's the time when I found that my dog had cancer. At first I think I was in denial about it, and by the time I went to the vet, they informed me that it was inoperable. So shortly afterwards, I had to put my dog down. I don't try to think about it often because it tends just to bring up more sad emotions. So I didn't get Shadow, my dog, as a puppy. I got him about 3 years ago. So he was already quite a senior dog. It was originally the dog of a family member of mine, which due to certain circumstances, he was put into my care. It seems like he came into my life when I needed him most, before Shadow coming into my care, I didn't really understand the allure of having a pet or a dog or anything. I didn't get it. I didn't understand why people were so attached to their pets. I think it's something you don't really understand unless you experience it. But even if you get a pet, there's no guarantee that you will become attached to it. This might be obvious to some of you, but I think the appeal of having a pet is that pets, generally, if we're close to them, they do not judge us. They might see those weaker moments of ourselves and still support us. They don't make these preconceptions. I think they see the good in us. They might see the bad too, but they focus or only seem to remember the good. I understand that this isn't always the case. There are always exceptions, and I don't have much experience with pet ownership, but it's having a living being there for you. To have someone or something that you can count on. A reassuring presence. Sometimes you get disillusioned by other people, but you don't have the same issues with animals. I don't think animals can lie. They don't have these ulterior motives. Maybe in the case of like cats or dogs in terms of getting food. I guess I can't really make these broad generalizations, but I hope you understand what I'm going at. It's certainly not to the same extent as you may encounter with people. It's easier to trust a dog. I don't really know much about cats. I've never had a cat of my own. This is kind of cheesy or whatever, but I was watching WandaVision, as it was still playing. And there was one quote that the Vision says that really stuck out to me. He says, "What is grief if not love persevering?" And I gotta give credit to the writers of that show, because it may seem so simple. I don't even know if I completely understand it, but something about it just hits real hard. I think I was trying to get into this whole grief and loss thing, but I can't say that I'm an expert on anything, really. I've dealt with grief before, and it's never easy. The only thing that seems to help is time and focusing on the positive memories you might have shared. There will always be the negative things, the regrets, the things you should have done. I found, yes, you can beat yourself up for how you should have acted, how you should have been, but it will only help in further self-loathing. This is harder to put into practice, but what I think you're supposed to do is take those regrets and use them as lessons for the future, and then forgive yourself. I found that if you don't have regrets, that means you acted perfectly. And because of our human condition, that's not a possibility. But let these regrets be lessons instead of reasons to not improve. I thought of this analogy too with like grief and stuff and traumatic experience, but think of it in a physical representation instead of a temporal one. I was thinking of like a siren going off. The further away you get from that siren, the quieter it gets. It still exists, but maybe it's not the perfect comparison, but the further away you get in relation is the more days that pass. It gets easier because you're not so close to it. Doesn't mean it doesn't matter anymore. It just means that there's some space. I think I'm good on the whole serious talk for now. I know this may seem a bit out of character for me, but I felt like I've been gone so long, I felt the need to open up a bit. I may not look it, but I tend to think probably too much. And I would love to share those thoughts more in the future, so if you're down, let me know. There's gonna be a lot of cuts in this video because I just tend to have these pauses in between words. And instead of just having these long, drawn-out pauses, I just find it better to cut them out. If you have watched to this point, I just want you to know that it means a lot to me because I recognize that it's not only taking time out of your day, but you also thinking that it's worth taking that time. My other content will not be focusing so much, at least in the short term, on emotional aspects. I just felt I had to get it out there. I still like to focus more on the joking, not so serious side of life, if possible. Because I think what a lot of people are actually looking for is an escape. So I'd like to help with that if I can. Although I guess you could argue that maybe we shouldn't need an escape. So I probably missed a lot of things that I wanted to talk about. I didn't really focus too much on like what videos are coming up. I guess I don't really share too much my thoughts because it's easier just to put on a front. It's simpler than just being honest and authentic. This video is probably coming too long. Thank you for listening to me. Once again, I can't promise when these videos will be releasing, but know that I won't give up on them. Jeez, was this weird? Like, I understand, like, I know it's kind of weird to talk about feelings and stuff, and believe me, it's weird for me too, but if you could stomach it, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm gonna go now. Thank you. I would be very appreciative if you decided to stick along for this journey. I don't know if it'll go anywhere, but I don't plan on letting you down purposely. I always just think of the Rick Astley song and I just like, ugh, did I just rickroll myself? Ending the video. Not talking. Ending. Okay. Okay. Thank you again. And fade to black. Stop recording.